Wow. Woo. Good evening. Good afternoon. Good evening here in California. We're live. My name is Kuya Ollie. Today's the 6th of November 2021. And of course, it is the 7th of November in the Philippines 2021. And today, we're coming to you live. I'm in California, and our guest tonight, or today, should I say, I'm getting confused, is live in the Philippines too. Okay. Before we introduce our guest tonight, actually, I don't really need to introduce our guest tonight because you guys already know who he is, because I've already posted it on Facebook and on YouTube for the last few days. I've already did. So I'm pretty sure you guys know who our guest tonight is. Give me just 1 second because I cannot see my face. There you go. Well, you're gonna have to bear with me because for one, let me speak Tagalog. For one, medyo ano po, maraming bagong kailangan kalikutin dito sa live ko, and I'm not really used to it. As a matter of fact, it's just been today na medyo okay, na medyo pinractice ko lang to ngayong araw na to, no. Actually, in just a few hours ago, I tried practicing everything, but I was trying to get used to it, but I'm still making a lot of mistakes. So my teacher from the Philippines is trying to teach me. I know hindi ako makita. So ngayon nakikita na ako. All right. Let me see. Our tonight's guest, or today's guest, he is a one of our government officials in the Philippines. Okay, so medyo I don't want to say na mataas na tao to dahil I mean physically he's really tall. And he is one of the President Duterte's cabinet members. Okay, that's all I can say right now because I'm not sure if he's online right now. He was online a little bit shorter, but now medyo nawala siya. So I'm not sure if he's on right now. But as soon as he comes back, I'm gonna put him live. Oh, okay. He's back. Actually, he's back. Okay. Let me do the introduction right now. Okay. You have to listen to this because my introduction to our guest today is very simple. I mean, he has been interviewed a lot of times, even before he became the press secretary of the Philippines. Okay, and I'm not gonna talk to him about politics as much as I can. But I don't know with you guys, if you guys are gonna comment and have questions, I'm gonna have to put that on and possibly show it to our guest, and maybe he can answer some of your questions. All right. So hindi na kailangan ng introduction dahil everybody knows him. Ang introduction ko lang sa kanya is siya yung isa sa mga pinaka magandang lalaki, pinakagwapo sa gobyerno ngayong panahon na ito, ngayong termo na ito. So without further ado, let's introduce our guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Philippines Press Secretary Martin Andanar.
Hello, Kuya Ollie.
There you go.
Ollie.
Wow.
Good evening there in California.
Good
Magandang here from Manila.
Yes, good afternoon sa inyo. Mukhang nasa loob pa ng sasakyan.
I just landed from Siargao. I was in Siargao yesterday to be with the president. We inaugurated the state-of-the-art sports
Mm-hmm.
facility in Siargao Island. As many of you are already aware that Siargao was voted as one of the best islands in the world, and it was voted as
Yeah.
the best island in Asia just recently by the Condé Nast, a
Wow.
magazine that is known to give ratings to different tourist attractions in the world. Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
it was great. It was
Congratulations.
great to be in. Yeah, it was good to be in Siargao, uh, Oli. But the thing is, it was all work, and I only stayed overnight. Didn't really have the chance to check out the swell.
Okay. To be honest with you, I was actually planning to, like, I think it was last year, I was trying to, or not, we were, me and my wife, we were planning to buy a small land in Siargao because of the place, the beauty of the place. And it just so happened na medyo nagkaroon ng konting shortages dahil sa, alam mo na, pandemic season. So let me go back with you, Mr. Press Secretary Martin Andanar. How have you been doing?
Been very busy, Oli. Alam mo naman sa gobyerno, uh, especially when you're winding up. The president only has 8 months left in government. Kami naman sa communication department ng ating Pangulo is we
Mhm.
still continue to work until the end of his term on
Of
June
course.
30, 2022. At the same time, we know that it's election year next year. Our administration has its own candidates. We have our own senatorial candidates, vice presidential and presidential candidate, plus the locals. So, being in the communication department, and it requires us to be with the president when he goes around. Just
Hmm.
like yesterday, he was in Siargao, so I
Hmm.
had to be there. Of course, not to mention that I'm really from Siargao. My father is from Siargao Island, and you
There you
mentioned that
go.
you wanted to buy a property there.
Hmm.
I suppose I can look for a
Oh, wow.
reasonably priced property for you.
Wow. I would appreciate that, Zach. Now, since you mentioned that President Duterte, you and the rest of the cabinet members only have 8 months left. Um, I want to talk about that probably a little bit later on. But right now, my question to you, Secretary Andanar, is, you know, let me go back to your own title, your own position in the government. Okay, because yung questions ko medyo magkakasunod-sunod na to eh. Okay, so my first question to you is, um, what did Martin Andanar do to the Philippines media since the Duterte term, or what have you accomplished in your term, and what's left of it? You know, ano pang mga plano mo for the next 8 months left?
The government media has been neglected since Marcos left the office in 1986.
Mhm,
Yung magandang PTV noon, yung magandang IBC, our
mhm,
Radyo ng Bayan, our Philippine News Agency, Philippine Information Agency, the Office of the Press Secretary, uh, slowly became more or less a relatively an insignificant department of the government. So what we did first was to rehabilitate, to reform our government platforms. The Philippine News Agency, for instance, was non-existent in the social media space. We were only getting 17,000 online views on our
that's
website, the
true.
pna.gov. Yeah, but now from 18,000 a month, we are up to about 5 million a month
Wow,
uh, paid
that's
page
huge.
landings. Yeah, yung aming social media was zero talaga, zero. So I think now we have almost 400,000 followers. PTV was only was only 15 to 18,000 followers on Facebook. Now we have about 4 million.
Wow.
Our reach has improved. Ganun din sa Radyo ng Bayan, which we rebranded as Radyo Pilipinas. Zero in social media now, over half a million. Radyo Pilipinas 738 AM is back on the rating game. It's
Mhm.
now included in the top 10 Nielsen survey. Ganun din, we, uh, we also revamped our 104.3. It was a business
Mhm.
radio before. Under this administration, it's called FM2. We play 80s and 90s music, the old
What,
classic
what
sound.
was that? What was that? The old 99.5 RT?
No, no, no. It's 104.3. It's
Oh, okay.
104.3.
Pero
It's
yung mga radio announcers was from RT.
Yeah, they moved to 104.3. When we rebranded it to FM2, it became the epitome of classic FM music here in the Philippines, here in Metro Manila, and from nowhere in the rating game, it uh, landed in the top 10. I think it was 4 or 5. We
Wow.
opened a new FM station, which is 87.5.
Mhm.
We called it FM1, and this is the radio station that serves new generation, the Generation Z. And
Mhm.
it's also part of the top 10. It's Beat and Magic 89.9,
Well, what kind of format did they have?
99.5 RT you mentioned earlier. Well, let's see. If it's in the States, I think it's Kiss FM.
Oh,
If it's in LA, it's
CHR.
102.7
Okay.
KIIS. Yeah,
So mga CHR ang music nila.
yeah, CHR. Tapo. Yeah, and so we strengthened the Radyo Pilipinas. You know, we
Mhm.
rehabilitated radio stations all over the country. You know,
Mhm.
as a media man and as a technocrat specializing in media,
Mhm.
uh, I'm fortunate to be able to introduce reforms in the government media based on my practice on private uh, media corporation.
Right. Right.
So even even introducing new platforms like the Salam Television, it's a television channel for our Muslim brothers and sisters. We
Right.
also introduced changes of the Philippine Information Agency. It's an agency that gives information to the rest of the country.
Mhm.
Philippine Information Agency has more than 100 social media presence in all over the country. We're very strong in
Right.
in localized news.
Mhm.
Tapos, uh, we also introduced reforms by way of building new infrastructure,
Mhm.
like the Government Communication Academy, which is the first government communication academy of of the country,
Mhm.
and we're building it in Manolo Fortich, Bukidnon. Uh, we also built the Mindanao Media Hub, a state-of-the-art media facility, the first one in Mindanao, the biggest so far in government, even outside, even in Metro Manila. Mas malaki pa yun sa Mindanao Media Hub. Next year, we're building
Oh,
the
wow.
Visayas Media Hub. And we introduced reforms also in policy. We dipped our fingers into policy making, like the freedom of information, the national task force to secure our media.
Mhm.
Kasama rin yon, and we're fighting for the legislation of the Media Workers Welfare Bill, which is now in the Senate. So these are just some of the reforms, and I can go on and on, but
I
the
know.
interview will become boring.
I know,
Sorry.
I know, I know. There's still a lot. There's still. I know there's. You still have a lot in your pipeline for the next 8 more months left of your term. Now, so napakarami, no? Napakarami na ng radio stations. Napakarami mong nagawa sa PCOO. Okay. So now, my next question is this. Um, kasi for the last 2 or 3 uh terms na mga nakaraan, ano, yung mga press secretary, I've never heard of them na may nagawa. I mean, they probably did a lot of things too, but yours is way different. I mean, you made a lot. You made a lot of things. You came up with a lot of ideas. I don't know if this is just your own idea or your group. May mga tao ka na nag-brainstorming kayo what needs to be done and ano yung mga dapat gawin. And I would like to congratulate you for doing that. You did a great job, truly. Pero
Thanks.
um,
Thanks, Ollie. Thank you.
no problem. Pero my next question follows up what you're doing right now. Um, after your term, after your term, what is next after Secretary Martin Andanar?
That's a good question. When I joined the government media
Mm,
or President Duterte's cabinet, I never stopped my work as a radio announcer and as a television presenter, apart from my executive job or managing
mhm,
or laying out the vision for the government. I still continue to do my broadcast every day. I I have two programs from Monday to Thursday. Friday I have three programs. Saturday I have two programs. Most of it are live programs.
mhm.
So, in other words, I really never stopped doing uh, my my core competence, which is broadcast,
Your
going on
passion.
air. So, uh, yeah, the passion that and this really uh, what keeps me going. It is continued doing the things that um, uh, that brought me where I am right now.
Right.
So I I have a realization, an epiphany that I have started to preach, and this is preaching a term that is not really so known. But if you notice, the United Nations and other countries, and so many nonprofit organizations, they talk about sustainable agriculture,
Right.
sustainable engineering, sustainable housing, sustainable marine biodiversity, sustainable food. But
Mhm,
you rarely hear sustainable communication. I believe that any product, just like you, Ollie, you're into the car business. You
mhm.
need to communicate your business.
Of
If
course.
I'm in government, I communicate the things that I do, not only internally but externally using media
Mhm,
platforms. Now, I believe that if we want sustainable development to be attained, we should take into consideration and seriously sustainable communication. And this
mhm,
is a paradigm that I think every media influencer should have before they turn on the microphone, before they turn on the camera and go
mhm,
live, whether on
mhm,
social media, on television, or radio.
mhm,
They should be uh, be able to have that mindset of sustainability, sustainable. And that's what I call sustainable communication, being conscious about what they say. So after government, I will continue to do that advocacy, perhaps
mhm,
write a white paper. Again, I mentioned that we're setting up the first government communication academy in Mindanao, and I hope
mhm,
to have sustainable communication as the main mantra of the institution so that all of the barangay information officers, we have 42,000 barangays all over the country. And for those who are watching and listening who are Filipino Americans but have not lived in the Philippines, the barangay is the smallest unit of government in the Philippines, and we have information officers every barangay. So just imagine being able to influence all of the barangay information officers all the way to the national government through this government communication academy.
Mm-hmm.
being able to teach them the wisdom of communication, especially sustainable communication. And I wish to do that. That is what I have set myself after government. Even if I go back to corporate communication or
Mm-hmm.
mass media or not, just like what you do, this is your passion. You're at home right now doing your
Right.
broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
At yun din ang gusto kong gawin. I'll continue my podcast, my Martin's Man Cave podcast, and continue to do these things.
To be honest with
Change
you
the
guys,
world.
I
Change
know.
the world, man.
To be honest with you guys, lahat po na nanonood at nakikinig ngayon, Secretary Martin Andanar is actually the only person who pushed me to do this. That's why I'm here right now. And I want to thank him for doing that because kung hindi dahil sa kanya, siguro yung passion ko being a broadcaster back in the day, siguro wala na ngayon. Kasi I'm too focused on car business. I'm too focused on that. And I said, no, I still want to do this. This is what I do. I mean, I still think, I still dream about talking. Sometimes
Mm.
I'm in my car driving and a song is playing or music is playing, and I'm trying to introduce that or extra that, and I'm still doing the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary Martin and then is actually the one who pushed me, who convinced me to do podcasting, and it's just so happy na
Yeah.
meron palang live ngayon. So I said, well, might as well do this and might as well do the live and podcast at the same time. So I want to thank you for
Yeah, I
for for
remember we were, you know, Ollie, I remember I visited the United States. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Yeah.
Uh, uh, yes, I went to Las Vegas to uh, to go to the NAB.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, the NAB, the National Association of Broadcasters convention. And on my way back to LAX,
Hmm.
you you took me out.
Hmm.
We had this wonderful seafood meal. What was that place again?
It's called what do you call that again? Captain Kids over at
Oh,
Redondo
Captain Kids.
Beach. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we have to go back there, man.
I know.
I'm every time uh, every time I think about it, every time I go, I think about LA and California. I always remember that restaurant, Captain Kids.
Yeah,
So I might be there next year. So
let me
I'll give
know.
you a call. But anyway,
Let,
anyway,
let me
uh,
know.
you know, it's great that you're back on radios. Well, Ollie was one of the guys who had a really a golden voice
Oh wow.
here in Manila. And when you're when you're a young man and you love broadcast, you just wanted to play. You just want to play your music, and you want to hear yourself on radio, and you want to sound good. You want to have that like baritone voice. But Ollie never had to modulate his voice because naturally he has a baritone voice. And so I told him, you have a natural baritone voice, and you have a good command in English. Uh, having uh, having friends from Olongapo who could speak, American friends who
Hmm.
Americans who could really speak good English because they're
Right,
Americans, di ba?
right. Talking about Olongapo, I saw your
So
I saw your interview with Dick Gordon, and I love that. I mean,
yeah,
he was our mayor back in Olongapo City when I was little, and he did
yeah,
great in our city. That's why when he moved to Manila. Uh, we were expecting him to be more than what he currently is right now. It's just sad that he didn't actually really make it sa presidential. But you know, I saw that interview. It was so good. It was so good. The rest of your interviews on your podcast was really great, but
Yeah.
none of them top Gordon. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, and I watched that like several
Thank you.
times already. And we're talking about a different topic right now. How's how's your life? I mean, how's your family? How are the kids? How's Ali?
Oh, uh, obviously the kids are no longer kids. Time breezed so fast that now we're winding up government, so it's almost 6 years. And well, luckily, even if I'm busy in government, I made it a point not to miss any of their milestones
I can
in
see that.
life, in grade
Yeah.
school and high school.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still very active in their university life.
Hmm.
When they need me, I'm always there. But then again, uh, something's got to give, Ollie. You can't really be there all the time,
Of course.
uh, especially uh, especially if you're working in government. You don't own your time. Uh,
Hmm.
it's not like you're an entrepreneur, so you own your
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
And when you're even if you work in corporate, you have more time than being in government. But anyway, I mean that's really part
Masyadong
of the
demanding ang
territory.
oras. Masyadong demanding ang oras when you work for the government, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially I guess the Presidential Communications Operations Office, because I handle about 13 agencies,
Oh
um,
wow.
and it's akin to running a huge corporation where
Hmm.
you have 13 corporations under the umbrella mother company. So it's like
Hmm.
that. So I have to meet with them and manage. So, it, it, but I'm glad that we're doing better now. But the thing
Hmm.
is, as I said, there are certain sacrifices that you have to make in the name of public service, the name of serving the country, and that's time. And you can never buy time. I mean, time is even more than gold.
Hmm.
It can never be returned. Once
Hmm.
once the minute, once the second passes by, you can't bring it back to,
Right.
to
That's
that.
that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. So
Yeah. So
now,
I
mm,
yeah. Go ahead.
okay. So we have a question coming from our viewers right now. Ito si Pinoy Brain Power. Okay. So Pinoy Brain
Pinoy rain
Power
power.
is asking, do you provide trainings for barangay officials on how to use different social media platforms to serve better their constituents?
This is exactly the point. It's a good question. This is the reason why we're setting up the Government Communication Academy,
Mm,
because from our experience holding the first National Communication Convention, or National Information Convention, 4 years ago, uh, we received the same question from different stakeholders. There were
mhm,
about more than 1,000 information officers.
mhm.
So this Government Communication Academy is not a vision that just popped out of my brain. This is a bottom up idea.
Right.
So we use the National Information Convention to solicit ideas, and so now we're doing it. So once the academy is built, then we now have an academy, an institution that can teach radio, television, newswire, online,
Online.
face-to-face communication.
Right.
Because this academy will really have everything. It's a information, it's a communication laboratory, which will have its own transmitters for television and radio, and anything that's new will be introduced in this academy.
Okay, that is very good. I am amazed because no one has ever done that before. And I don't know, you're the only one who thought of that. Did you think of that, or your what do you call this? Uh, your staff. Did you guys think of that? It's
Well,
really
yeah,
good.
it's it, it it's always been my dream to be able to give back to society, and as a media man,
Hmm.
as a as a technocrat, I've always
Yeah.
had that in my mind. But
Hmm.
I needed to solicit information from the information officers themselves, and without even telling them that this is what I want to happen or wanted to happen.
Hmm.
Uh, they through the surveys that we had, and through the mechanism that we created during the National Information Convention,
Hmm.
they were we received overwhelming uh, request or
Right.
recommendation to set up a courses for the barangay officials, especially the barangay information officers, and it's 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 also timely because during that time, during that training, everyone was getting into the internet. Facebook Live was going strong, and we were also experiencing, or we started to experience the negative effects of having live stream,
Hmm.
especially the effect of fake news or false news.
Uh-huh.
So
Hmm.
there had to be a system a system how to counter
Hmm.
fake news. So
Hmm.
yan, so naisip namin media literacy program since uh, in 2017, um, we were the chairman of the Association of Southeast Asian Nation uh, Summit, the ASEAN
Hmm.
summits, and as the chairman for the information ministers, I'm very proud to say that we were the ones who first introduced the roundtable discussion on countering fake news. And in
Wow.
2017, it was continued by Singapore. So,
Hmm.
nakaka-proud din na
Of
tayo din
course.
nagsimula nun.
Tayo nagsimula, ikaw ang nagsimula, and then now the other countries are doing it, following our steps, the Philippine steps, that is. It's that nakaka-proud sobra. Napakagaling ng ginawa ninyo. So now, talking about those, social media, fake news and whatnot, let me ask you this personally. How do you handle haters? How do you handle bashers? Because I'm sure nasa gobyerno ka, and hindi maaalis, hindi maiiwasan na meron at meron mga bashers ang Secretary Martin Andanar, mga haters. How do you handle them? Do you get back at them?
No, I don't get back at them, but there are instances where you're so tempted to answer back on social media.
Of course.
Di ba? Sabi nga, tao lang, di ba? Pero, tao lang po. Pero alam mo, ganito lang yun eh. Ganito lang yun. Uh, we are here based on public trust.
Yes.
So, therefore, I am a trustee. And you, Ollie, you are a trustor. So you
Hmm.
trusted me to be in this position. And
Correct.
this is public trust. So whatever I do, I'm under scrutiny by every citizen
True.
of this republic. It's
Hmm.
part of the job. It comes with the territory.
Hmm.
But I have this uh, very strong sense of patriotism and professionalism
Hmm.
that as long as I know, I feel that whatever I do is for the greater interest of the entire population, and I'm doing right, then it will never it will never shake me down. I will never waver in what
Mhm,
I do. And
mhm,
as a technocrat, I have focused my time, my effort, my blood, sweat, and tears in
mhm,
building the bureaucracy. So building the TV station, the radio station, and I
mhm.
see nothing wrong. You can never go wrong
Of course.
if you build your radio station. You can never go wrong if you strengthen the transmitter or you change. Alam mo, Oli, for example, radio, ikaw radio man ka eh.
Mhm,
Nung pumasok ako, napakadami pang mga computer,
mhm,
CPU
mhm.
natin na nasa Pentium 4 pa. Pentium 3, Pentium 4.
Really old.
Napakabagal.
Mhm.
Talaga nga Jurassic. uh,
Jurassic.
tapos, alam mo yung programang, the movie of Robin Williams na Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh yeah, I've
Di
seen
ba?
that. That's my favorite one. Yeah.
Da Good Morning Vietnam!
Yeah, that's it.
Di ba dial pa? Dial pa.
Oo,
Yung
dial pa
kanyang
yung
console.
console.
Believe it or pagpasok ko, napakadaming dial yung console.
Console, yeah.
So slowly we had to change the console to the new ones,
Mhm,
the digital ones.
mhm.
Slowly but surely. Yung mga transmitter sa ibang mga radio station sa malalayo, di tubo pa. I mean tubo, yung parang fuse, may fuse, di ba?
Yung ginagamit sa
So,
mga mga CB na radio, yung mga ganung
oh, yung
tubo.
mga, yeah. Well, actually ngayon, marami na mga audiophile na bumibili ng mga plaka, di ba? Tsaka
Yeah,
mga
yeah.
turntable na ditubo. So
Uh-huh.
ngayon, parang collector's item na siya. Pero,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't really do well. It's not energy efficient. It's not as powerful as the new one. So, as long as you do these things, as long as you upgrade the facility that needs upgrading, you can never go wrong. Like I think it's a no-brainer that you you put so much effort so that the government social media gets more followers.
Mhm.
'Di ba? Hindi naman rocket science 'yan eh. So kahit na anong sabihin nila sa akin,
Mhm.
ang nasa isip ko basta majority of the Filipinos nakikinabang dito sa ginagawa nating mga reforma sa ating pagbo-broadcast.
I know. That's very good. And once again, congratulations dahil napakalaki ng nagawa mo sa Philippine radio or broadcasting industry. Napakalaki na nagawa mo. And now, since marami kang nagawa, I don't wanna say anything bad to the previous press secretaries because like I said, I was still in the Philippines before you become a press secretary, and nakita ko yung mga previous press secretaries natin na talagang I don't know, compa- compared sa nagawa mo ngayon, it's just so much. We have a lot of how many radio stations and TV stations are owned by the government right now? Okay, medyo nawawalan yata ng signal si Secretary Martin Andanar. If you can hear me, my question was how many radio stations and how many TV stations are owned by the government right now? Okay. We will be back very
We have
shortly.
about
Okay, go ahead.
more than 30 radio stations. Yeah, yeah. The signal is not too good. I think it's the area where I'm in. I'm
Mhm.
already headed to Antipolo. So
Okay.
uh, there's this area where the signal
Are you
is.
going home right now? Are you on your way home? Are you on your way to your aunt's house?
Now I'm going to my son who has a school activity here in
Hmm.
Antipolo in
Oh, okay.
Sumulong. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, we have about uh, 30 to 35 radio stations owned by the government, and this is just one network, the
Hmm.
Philippine Broadcasting Service. We have more than 14 television stations, but the licenses to operate, we have more than 30 across
Oh,
the
wow.
Philippines. Uh, well, the IBC 13 is a
Hmm.
government sequestered TV station. We're trying to sell that. It also has franchise,
Hmm.
uh, radio franchises. So, um, yeah, we just basically the, do what we can to improve all of these stations,
Hmm.
get better signal, better programming. At the same time, strengthen the social media presence, because as the day goes by and the day becomes months and months into years, our
Hmm.
internet signal in the Philippines um, is improving tremendously.
Okay.
And most of the people here in Metro Manila, they use smartphones. They get their news from the smartphone, from social
Hmm.
media, and from YouTube and uh, um, Twitter, from
Hmm.
Facebook. So you have to be present in all screens. If you're uh, a legacy broadcast company
Hmm.
and you don't make yourself or your presence felt on social media, then obviously you get left behind.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a continuing struggle, battle, um,
Hmm.
and it's a continuous uh, work of innovation and
Hmm.
introducing new ways to adapt to the situation. And
Hmm.
I hope that when we leave government, I hope that whoever replaces us will continue with the same mindset that the world is changing rapidly in
Hmm.
all aspects. And one of the reasons, I guess, the my predecessors and the past presidents have uh, um, sort of, had a a sleeping press secretary's office or PCOO
Hmm.
in terms of technology is because they hired uh, men that were built for the 60s, 70s, and 80s, that were built for the press. And I think I'm the first one that was hired that really had a deep knowledge and understanding of broadcast and social media broadcast.
Now it makes
So
sense.
yeah, so I because my predecessor Sunny, I mean Sunny Coloma is a great guy. He's my
Hmm.
professor at the Asian Institute of Management. Uh,
Hmm.
they apart from having different priorities, but he's a press guy. He's a newspaper guy. The
Hmm.
guy before him was the same. The guy before that guy was the same. Kaya obviously napabayaan talaga yung broadcast natin. So
I know.
yun naman siguro yun.
And ikaw, from your foundation, you started as a radio announcer, and then and you became a TV personality. You were in the
Yeah,
news. So,
and and and,
pareho.
and an executive and an executive in broadcast. So we were sort of a hybrid person.
Yeah.
So uh,
That's why you had a lot of ideas kung paano mo i-improve yung media and broadcasting industry ng Pilipinas.
palagay ko, Oli, kasi alam naman tayong dalawa. naabutan pa natin yung reel to reel, di ba? Tapos yung
I know.
MIDI, CD,
CDs.
plaka.
Mhm.
Ah, kumbaga, di ba pinag-usapan nga natin dati na we can stay inside the recording or the editing booth for hours
Hours, yeah.
and come out smiling. Di
Mhm.
ba? Kasi yun ang first love natin eh.
True.
Yeah, so uh, uh, my predecessors are better writers than I am.
Mm.
But I can say that I'm a better broadcaster than they are because
Yes,
I'm a broadcaster. They're not.
exactly.
They're writers,
The writers and you're a
columnists, and
broadcaster.
I'm not. And I'm not. So may kanya-kanya siguro kaming specialization.
Specialty. Okay, so natanong ko na sa I already asked you this question earlier, but then again, this is a follow-up question. Someone actually just sent me a text message because you mentioned that your plan, you mentioned your plan after your term. Ang tinatanong nitong kaibigan natin dito sa California, actually si Noriel San Diego, and his father, Florentino or Flor San Diego, is actually one of your true fan or followers, should I say? Yeah, they
Kamusta, sir?
always listen to this AM radio station. Kahit na dito sila sa California, they always listen to
Yeah.
this certain radio station, and where they can hear this announcer na tinitira ka. So
Uh,
and silang dalawang mag-ama, nag-uusap sila, protecting you na I don't think so na ganyan si Secretary Martin Andanar. They were talking about that, and ang question ni Noriel San Diego is hindi ka daw ba or wala ka daw bang planong tumakbo for Congress or Senator or Senate?
wala. Wala sa ngayon. Wala sa ngayon. Hindi mo na malaman kung ano mangyayari sa
Of course.
future, sa kinabukasan. So, I came in as a technocrat, and
Mhm,
I shall exit as a technocrat, knowing
mhm,
well that we have done our best to reform government media.
mhm,
At kahit sinong tanungin mo sa Pilipinas na may alam sa broadcast or nanonood ng government broadcast,
mhm,
they will tell you that this President Digong, is the most visible president in all of the presidents that have come and gone
mhm.
here in the Philippines. And precisely the reason why he's one of the top rating presidents in our country because of the policies that we have introduced.
Mhm,
So running is not my thing right now. I, I I want to pursue again this sustainable communication.
mhm.
At kahit tirahin ako ng mga kung sino-sino man, I'm a secure person. I'm confident, and I know that we've done our best, and I know that we've delivered more than what was expected of us. And the
Exactly.
next PCO secretary will have a walk in the park because of the
Exactly.
changes that we've made. And
Mhm,
yeah, and Oli, ang mga empleyado namin sa PCO, kukonti lang yung regular employees. Ngayon,
mm,
napakadami ng regular employees. Ilagyan namin yung plantilla, more than 300 sa PIA na promote namin, pinasok namin. So hindi, kasi pag sinabi mong plantilla, kahit na mawala na yung Pangulo, yung nag-appoint sa kanila,
mm.
nandyan pa rin sila. Dati
Nandun pa rin
kasi
sila,
puro
yeah.
political appointees. No? So
Exactly right.
pag, pag hindi regular yung employee at umalis din pag umalis yung presidente, then
Mhm,
there goes your bureaucratic memory.
mhm,
Okay? So
mhm.
meaning, yung mga natutunan, nadadala din ng tao sa labas. At
Right.
walang napapasahan ng best practices.
Mhm,
Ngayon, iba na ngayon. Meron tayong continuity, meron bureaucratic memory, we have a sense of history sa PCOO, and it's a
mhm.
very strong institution. We've been winning awards, uh, and we've been nominated sa Asian TV Awards, just
Wow.
recently nominated sa Catholic Mass Media Awards. We won the Stevie Awards also held there in the United States.
Hmm.
I mean, it's great. I mean, it's never been this good. It's a PCO.
I know. And what else do you need to do? Lahat nagawa mo na. You made the broadcasting industry in media in the Philippines so good, so beautiful. And what else do you need to do? Nothing more. Kasi just like what you said, the next
Uh,
PCO secretary will just be like walking in the park because you've done everything yourself. So, well, I guess um, I just have to wish you good luck in your next journey after your term right now. Aking kaibigan dahil wala na ako masabi. I mean, not only did I hear that from you, but I see it. I mean, I went back to the Philippines 2018 and visited some of the radio stations and some of the biggest what do you call this TV network, and I've seen the difference from before and now. It's it changed tremendously. Napakalaki ng pagbabago, and that is all because of you. I'd like to congratulate you for doing a great job.
thank you, Ollie. By the way, I wrote a book. It's called Media Man. It's volume one, and
Mhm.
I placed your name
Oh wow.
in the acknowledgments. Yeah, because
Oh,
because
oh wow.
uh,
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Sec.
yeah,
Wow, wala akong
yeah.
masabi. Maraming salamat sa iyo. And
Yeah,
I
but
don't want to keep you. Go ahead.
I didn't write Ollie he's on, but I wrote Oliver North because
Oh,
that's
that's
how that's how we
that's
used to call you.
that's the old radio name. Oh my. Okay, I don't want to keep you along anymore, Mr. Secretary Andanar, because I know you're tired. I know how hectic or how busy your schedule is, and I want you to get some rest as much as you can because yung pagdadrive mo lang na yan. If I'm not doing an interview with you, baka may nasa telepono ka na naman and you're talking to a lot of
Uh-huh.
people. So I want you to
Oh,
take a rest right now. I don't want to keep you along anymore, but I wish you all the best. I wish you good luck, and hopefully your next journey mo, ma-follow ko pa rin, ma-follow pa rin natin, and soon enough, maybe after your term, after 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, or after the next term, I'm actually expecting you to run for an office. So
dala na
because
akong tatakbo sa Amerika kumain na tayo sa Captain Kids.
to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, lahat po na nanonood ngayon sa Pilipinas, sa Australia, Canada, and here in the US, lahat po na nanonood ngayon o lahat na makakapanood nitong video namin sa YouTube. Um, to be honest with you guys, I've known Secretary Martin Andanar for a long time, and he is the only person na mapagkakatiwalaan ko na lalo na ngayon dumating siya na na pwesto siya sa gobyerno. He's the only person na pagkakatiwalaan ko. I'll bet my life on it. It's not that
Thank you.
he is my friend, but I know I know him. I know you. So I trust you 1,000,000%. So if it in case in the future you run for an office or you run for again, isa ako sa mga supporters mo and isa ako sa mga tutulong, of course, for you to be able to win.
Thank you.
No problem,
Thank
sir.
you, Ollie. I wish you all the best. Congratulations on your auto maneuvers, the podcast that you have.
Thank you.
I'm very proud, and I'm very happy that you're doing this. Your first love. It's so fulfilling to do something that you really love. Uh, I will do my best to influence you in the sustainable communication campaign.
Wow. Let's do that.
Yeah, before you open that microphone and say something, you blurt out a word, then uh, you know you can say something that could make this earth more sustainable. So thank you
There you
so much. I
go.
hope to see you. I
Okay.
hope to see you
For
soon.
I hope to see you soon, Sec. For the last time,
Mm.
what can you tell our viewers or our listeners right now?
Uh, well, COVID-19 is not yet over, although, as you see here in the Philippines, we have opened the market. We have opened the country or alert level two. I'll turn the camera around so you'll see uh, how traffic it is here in Rizal.
Mm-hmm.
Napakadami na pong mga tao dito, hindi tulad mga 2 weeks ago, halos wala kang makita.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just be careful. Alagaan natin sarili natin. Mahalin natin ang
Mm-hmm.
ating sarili dahil pag hindi mo minahal ang sarili mo, baka hindi mo na makita yung pamilya mo, mga mahal mo sa buhay,
Of
di ba?
course. Yeah.
Alam kong nami-miss nyo na rin mga kababayan ang Pilipinas. Kaya just stay healthy, stay strong para makauwi kayo dito. Para naman makita niyo yung pamilya. And to you, Ollie, and your family, I wish you all the best and I hope to take you around to our beautiful island of Siargao.
Of course.
Piliin kita ng property doon. Pumili ka ng property. Sabi ko sa Miro doon, gusto mo sa Newgan, pwede rin.
Okay.
Okay.
Maraming maraming
Sige, bro.
maraming salamat
Thank
sa
you.
iyo sa Secretary Martin Andanar. I'll see you soon. I'll talk to you later and you be safe and say hi to Al and the kids for me.
Yes, I will. And say hi to the kids and the wife also.
We'll
Bye-bye.
do that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Secretary Martin Andanar. Maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat, sa lahat na nanood. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, and we hope to see you next week or next couple of weeks with our next guest, surprise guest, to be honest with you. We will see you again. Good luck po sa inyo lahat and stay safe. Thank you.